Hello guys and welcome to the VCS Assessment Masterclass. The VCS online test is more than just an assessment as it is beautifully designed by the company to evaluate your customer service skills through various scenarios and multiple choice questions. And in this video, I will provide you all the answers to the questions that are asked in this assessment along with my top tips and tricks to help you prepare effectively and achieve higher scores. Trust me guys, after watching this video, you'll be fully prepared to handle any question that comes your way. So this test has 3 sections. Section 1, working with customers. Section 2, customer conversation. Section 3, work style assessment. Let's move on to our first section, working with customers. And just to let you know, this section is further divided into 2 parts, exercise 1 and exercise 2. Exercise 1 will have approximately 20 questions and exercise 2 will have approximately 6 questions. In a nutshell, section 1 will have a total of 26 questions. And the good thing is there is no time limit for any section or question, which means you can take the test at your own pace. But the problem here is if I give you the answers to all 26 questions one after the other, the chances are you'll probably forget more than half of the answers before the video ends. And as an interview coach, it is my job to ensure you understand the concepts, remember the answers, and avoid any issues in real interview. Guys, my briefing and explainer videos usually get a lot of views because I focus on decoding the assessments and test patterns first and then explain the concepts in an easy to understand way. And the great news is that I have decoded the VCS assessment and figured out the test pattern. Now let me quickly break down the test details for you. So section 1 has approximately 26 questions. The test seems tough when you look at the questions one by one, but after decoding and understanding the pattern, I found it's actually very easy to clear the assessment. I found that section 1 has 5 types of questions. Type 1, return, refund, or cancellation related questions. So in this category, you will encounter scenarios where a customer has received a damaged or an unfunctional product, like wrong sized shoes, broken light bulbs, or defective plate set. Your task will be to find out the right answer based on the given situation and company policies. Type 2, audio questions. This type includes 4 to 5 audio questions where a customer describes an issue and your task will be to listen to the audio carefully, gather the information, and provide a suitable response. These questions are simple, but you need to pay attention to the customer's accent and details. Type 3, troubleshooting related questions. So in this section, you will get scenarios where a customer's product like a newly purchased e-reader is not working. You'll be given 4 to 5 troubleshooting steps and you need to choose the correct order to solve the problem. Type 4. So in this type, you will face questions about various situations, customer queries, or recommendations. For example, if a customer is looking for a specific product, you may need to recommend a suitable option. Type 5, training and quality related questions. So this section has 4 to 5 questions about training and quality assurance. For example, you might need to decide what to do if you find an outdated policy information during your own training. So it's time for us to quickly look at a few sample questions for each type. We'll start with type 1, return or refund related questions. Guys, I honestly can't show you the actual test screen or play the original recording due to the copyright issues. So I'll try my best to explain things on my own way. Question number 1. So the question reads as, hello, my order of light bulbs arrived today and half of them were broken. Should I return the broken ones and keep the others? Just below that, you will find your task, which means what you're supposed to do in this case. The task reads as, how would you respond to the customer? So in order to find the correct answer, you must read the return policy and packaging and condition section. So let's try to understand the situation again. The customer received their light bulbs package, but half of them were broken. He contacted the support team to check if he should return the broken ones. So the correct answer to this question is the second option. As the refund policy states, opened but arrived broken means a full refund is available and the customer does not have to return the broken items. Let's move on to our next question. The question reads as, I purchased a Bluetooth speaker last week and I've decided it's not going to work for me. Can I return it and get a refund? And our task reads as, what questions would you ask to answer the customer's request? So the first question we should ask the customer in this case is, what is the condition of the speaker? This is because by understanding the condition of the speaker, an executive can easily refer to the return policy and handle the customer's query accordingly. Let's move on to our next question. The question reads as, I just placed an order for new shoes, but I mistakenly selected the wrong size. Is there a way to cancel my order? Our task reads as, how would you respond to the customer? So to answer this query, we need to refer to the cancellation policy, which states that orders with a pending status can be cancelled either by the customer or by an associate. You should choose this option. I understand completely. Since your order is still pending, I will cancel it for you. Guys, to be honest with you, the questions aren't difficult, but with a bit of presence of mind, you can easily find the correct answers for yourself. Let's move on to our next question. The question reads as, I just received my order for a plate set. 3 of the 4 glass plates are broken. The shipping box is damaged as well. Can I return these for a refund? And our task reads as, after apologizing for the inconvenience, how would you respond to the customer? So in order to find the correct answer, we must read the non-returnable broken item policy, which I've already done. And in order to save you time, let me quickly go ahead and give you the correct answer. I can provide a refund or ship a replacement. What would you prefer? This answer clearly respects the policy and gives the customer the flexibility to choose between a refund or a replacement based on their preference. Guys, if I explain each answer in detail, the video will get too long. Anyways, the VCS assessment test has 3 to 4 different test sets or maybe more. If you get this test set, these are the exact answers. Even if you get a different test set, you will find over 50 to 60% of questions will still be from this set, as the questions are often repeated. So going forward, I will just share the question and then give you the answer directly. Let's move on to question number 1 of type 2 questions. Guys, remember I told you in the beginning, this type has 4 to 5 audio questions where customer will describe an issue and your task will be to listen carefully, gather the information and provide a suitable response. Let's move on to our next question. A recorded voice will say, actually a female voice will say,
I found a hole in my tent, but my refund request was denied because the package was opened. How would I know there was a hole without opening it? I should get a refund.
Guys, such a pathetic attempt to speak in a female voice. Let me do it in my own voice. I found a hole in my tent, but my refund request was denied because the package was opened. How could I know there was a hole without opening it? I should get a refund. And our task reads as, so how would you respond to the customer? So you will see the return policy on the screen with 4 options. And after reading the return policy, you should be able to find the correct answer pretty easily. Anyways, let me give you the correct answer. But there is something very important that I want to discuss here. I've already returned the question on the screen, but in the real test setting, you will have to listen to the customer's query very closely to understand the customer concern and then find the answer from the given options. And trust me, many candidates struggle with this type of questions because they find it very difficult to understand American or British accents. What makes this part of the test difficult is if you don't understand the accent and if you're not able to understand the question, you won't be able to find the actual answer. But the good news is you can replay the recording twice, but you still need to listen carefully to understand the issue. So for this question, the correct answer is option number 2. I apologize for the inconvenience. Our return policy states that the items must be unopened. I'm happy to work with you on this solution. Let's move on to our next question. A recorded or a male voice will say, hi, I'm visiting Arizona and trying to find a return location near postal code 68423. Could you provide a phone number for a return hub in this area? Again, as I mentioned earlier, if you have troubles understanding the accent, don't forget to listen to the recording again. So on your screen, you will see 2 addresses. Check the postal code which says 68423. Since the question is asking for the phone number of the return hub, option number 3 will be the correct answer. Let's move on to our next question. A recorded or a female voice will say, I'm calling to check the shipping address for my new account, which I had to open due to a mail fraud. I believe someone took my mail and accessed my old account, so I closed it and opened a new one. And our task reads as, what is the customer calling about? The correct answer is, customer is calling to check on the shipping address. Let's move on to our next question. A recorded or a female voice will say, hello, can you help me? I'm looking for a very specific teddy bear to gift to my friend's 3-year-old baby. Can you help me find what I'm looking for? And our task reads as, how would you respond to the customer? The correct answer is option number 3. So you're searching for a specific teddy bear to give as a gift. Can you describe what you're looking for? Let's move on to our next question. A recorded or a female voice will say, I recently signed up for an account and accidentally entered the wrong email address. Could you please update my email address to maria21@email.com? Guys, make sure to replay the recording to ensure you get the exact email address. And your task will be pretty simple. You just need to type or enter customer's correct email address in the box given below. In this kind of questions, the key is to understand the accent and nothing else. Let's move on to our next question. A recorded or a female voice will say, hello, I've been waiting for a specific computer monitor to come back in stock, but the website still shows that it's unavailable. Can you check if there is any new shipment coming? The product number is CM70983. Your task will be to enter the product number in the box given below using all uppercase letters. And again, the key is to understand the accent. Don't forget to replay the recording to get the exact product number. Let's move on to question number 1 of type 3 questions. All these will be troubleshooting related questions where you will be given a few troubleshooting steps and you need to choose the correct order to solve the problem. Let's move on to our next question. The question reads as, hi, I purchased one of your e-reader and it worked for several hours, but now it won't turn on. It doesn't respond even when I plug it into the charger. Can you help? Your task is to choose which troubleshooting step should the customer try first. And the answer is step number 3. Confirm the battery is fully charged. Let's move on to our next question. The question reads as, I want to stream videos on my tablet, but my Wi-Fi keeps disconnecting. I'm close to the router and away from anything that could block the signal. What should I do? Your task reads as, how would you respond to the customer? To answer this question, you must read the Wi-Fi troubleshooting steps given in the table carefully. Guys, there is no shortcut or tricks to clear the MCQ questions because each question has only one correct answer. The best way to succeed in troubleshooting and other customer-related questions is by putting yourself into the customer's shoes. Imagine what you would do in the real life if you face a similar problem. Trust me, in most cases, your first reaction will be the actual answer. For example, if I'm trying to stream videos on my tablet, but the Wi-Fi keeps disconnecting, using this simple logic, you can find the correct answers to most questions. In this case, step number 2 fits the situation perfectly. So the correct answer is, it would be helpful to know more about the issue. Is this happening with your other devices? Let's move on to our next question. The question reads as, I want to buy a new laptop, something lightweight with a long battery life. It also cannot cost too much. Do you have a recommendation? Your task is, which laptop would you suggest the customer buy? Guys, I know this is more of a recommendation than a troubleshooting question, but I thought of covering it in this category as we still have our troubleshooting hat on. The customer has 3 requirements. The laptop should be lightweight, have a long battery life, and be affordable. From this table, we can easily find the best laptop for the customer. Laptop C has everything the customer is looking for. It's lightweight, reasonable priced, and has a battery life of over 10 hours, which is the best amongst the options provided. Let's move on to question number 1 of type 4 questions. In this type, you will face questions about various situations, customer queries or recommendations. You'll be presented with a customer query scenarios, and your task will be to select the most appropriate response from the multiple choice options. Let's move on to our next question. It's a situational based question, and the question reads as, I'm so annoyed with myself. My grandson's graduation is tomorrow, and I just realized I ordered him the wrong size shoes. I waited until the last minute and got the wrong size. Unbelievable. The task reads as, how would you respond to the customer? In this case, the answer is pretty simple and straightforward. I completely understand. I will feel frustrated too. Let's move on to our next question. It's again a situational based question. The question reads as, you are on call with the customer who is complaining about a recent smart device purchase, and your task reads as, how would you respond to the customer? This is again a regulation question, and if you read the given options carefully, you can easily find your answer. In this case, the answer is, listen to the feedback and thank the customer for calling. Let's move on to our next question. It's a recommendation based question. The question reads as, in this scenario, the customer is looking for a gift for their daughter who enjoys soft toys and prefers non-electronic items. And the task reads as, which of the following would you recommend the customer? So the key here is to understand the customer's preferences and suggest products that match their needs. For this question, the answer is sensory toy. Sensory toy is basically designed to stimulate a child's senses, such as touch, sight, and sound to aid their sensory development. Let's move on to our next question. It's a regulation customer query. The question reads as, "Hello, I'm following up on my return that I submitted a week ago. You should have received it by now, but I haven't seen the credit in my account. Where is my refund?" And your task is to rank the possible responses below from best rank 1 to worst rank 4 by dragging and dropping the responses or using the arrow to move the responses into the correct order. In short, you must rank the options from best to worst by using the arrows. So to save time, I've already arranged them from best rank 1 to worst rank 4. You can either pause the video to read them or take a screenshot to review later. Guys, to be honest with you, some questions are a bit tricky, but there are quite a few questions which are easy as well. But if a tricky question comes up that needs further explanation, I will make sure to clarify doubts and provide the necessary information. That will make it easier for you to follow the instructions. Follow. Oh wow, this word reminds me of a YouTuber's favorite line. Guys, if you find this video and its information valuable, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel Hyronics. If you subscribe today, you will often find me in your feed with more Tom and Jerry funny videos. Interview acing masterclasses to help you succeed in your interview. So do subscribe. So let's move on to our next question. The question reads as, you are on call with customer trying to troubleshoot a device issue. You have been talking with the customer for 10 minutes, but cannot get enough information to understand the problem. Your task is, after 10 minutes, what would you do? Rank the possible responses below from the best rank 1 to worst rank 4. So guys, this is another question where you must rank the options from best to worst by using the arrows. For your convenience, I've already arranged them from best rank 1 to worst rank 4. You can either pause the video to read it or take a screenshot and review that later. Let's move on to our next question. This is another customer query question. The question reads as, I want to downgrade my premium membership since it's too expensive for me. I rarely shop, but I enjoyed the books available with the premium membership. Could you help me find the best fit? Your task is to suggest which membership would be the best fit for the customer. And to find the right answer, we must keep a few things in mind. He's looking for a cost-effective option. He rarely shops, but enjoys books. So the best membership for the customer would be option number 1, Content Plus, as it will not only help him save money, but also give him unlimited access to movies, shows, and books. Let's move on to our next question. This is another customer query. The question reads as, I'm trying to find information about one of my recent orders. Can you find out the order ID for the baby wipes I purchased? And your task is to enter the order ID for the baby wipes in the given box. And you got to make sure that the capitalization must match. Guys, this is a pretty simple question. Under items, look for baby wipes, go to the order ID and simply write it down in the box below. So in this case, option 2 will be the correct answer. Let's move on to our next question. The question reads as, you're reviewing the customer's account and needs to search for the additional information. And the task reads as, enter the customer's billing postal code. Guys, this is another pretty simple question. You will have all the customer information on your screen. You just need to look for the billing postal code and write it down in the box below. Guys, it's time to move on to our last type questions for this section. These questions will focus on your training and quality assurance, judging your attention to details and commitment to higher standards. Let's look at our next question. The question reads as, your team got approval for a team picnic at a nearby park. The selected park needs to have reservable picnic shelters, a parking lot, and an activity area like a sports field. And your task is to recommend a park. Since the selected park needs to have a reservable picnic shelters, a parking lot, and an activity area, so if you take a look at the given options carefully, you will find that option C has everything that they're looking for. Let's move on to our next question. The question reads as, while receiving customer notes entered by another associate, you realize the associate may not have fully followed a policy. And your task is, what would you do after reviewing the customer notes? Guys, this is another regulation question and does not require any explanation. The correct answer is, review the policy that may not have been followed. Let's move on to our next question. The question reads as, while completing a required training, you notice that the training includes outdated policy information. And the task reads as, what would you do after finding the outdated information? Guys, another simple question. The correct answer is, contact the training team about what you found and the update needed. Let's move on to our next question. This is another training related question. The question reads as, did you see the new training policy? I read through it this morning. It looks like we are required to complete 2 additional weeks of training every quarter. I also think the in-person training option is new, and your task is to find out what have been changed in the updated training policy. So if you look at the provided table closely and read through all the given options under policy area, old policy and updated policy, you will notice that the only change is under virtual option. In the old policy, the virtual option was no, but in the new policy, virtual option says yes. So the correct answer is virtual option. Let's move on to a final question of this section. This is another training related question. The question reads as, the password policy was updated, so all associates are required to change their passwords within the next 7 days. I've attached the updated policy for you to follow. And your task reads as, which of the following passwords complies with the password policy? So basically the instruction says, the password should have minimum 7 characters, including a special character. It should also contain a mix of letters with both lower and uppercase and a combination of different numbers. So guys, option 3 seems to be a perfect match to me. Guys, this video is getting a bit lengthy, so I've decided to split it into 2 parts. In the next part, I will cover the briefing for remaining 2 sections, customer conversation and work style assessments. You will find the links to the remaining sections like customer conversation and work style assessments either in the description box or on the end screen. Guys, just the final words. It takes a lot of hard work to create assessment masterclass videos like this one. And all I need in return is your support to grow this channel. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe to my channel Hyronics. I thank you for being such a lovely audience. Now just click on part 2 video showing up on your screen and I'll see you there for further briefing.